So it's not for kids.
I know you love Tenet,
Yeah.
but I actually think the older I've gotten, the more I think Chris Nolan's movies are boring. Is that a hot take?
It's rather tepid.
Is it?
It's so tepid, I can't even pronounce the P.
It's like everyone's losing their shit for his movies still.
Tom, I think if you said Nolan was mid in 2016, that would be a hot take. If you say Nolan is mid in 2026, people look at you and they're just like, all right. They're not making a fucking Jubilee video that is like 20 Nolan heads versus one Tom. You know, like that's not a thing.
Yeah. 20 beatboxing jokers versus... What would they be like up against?
They're all beatboxing at the same time, but like different parts of the song.
It's not even like 20 versus 1. It's not even like an episode of Surrounded. It's just 20 beatboxing jokers free for all.
20 beatboxing jokers versus Eric Martin.
Okay.
You want to hear my thing about the Odyssey?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
I read this book when I was in like the senior year of high school. I thought it was all right. My big problem with it is that I couldn't wrap my head around who was who. It was like reading a Wikipedia plot synopsis for a horror movie that you haven't seen. One character's name is Odysseus, and then the other one's called like Odysseus, and then there's Oseus, and then there's Cydinus. You catch my drift? Do I need to give you more examples?
I think I get it, sure.
I just got lost in the chowder, you know? I couldn't keep up. I even started taking notes on like, this dude killed this thing. There's something that really removes you from a story when you have to keep flipping back to like a little anime, what happened last week descriptions. Like the ones they put at the beginning of the Tankobons.
Yeah. This character is this guy. Have they done the Odyssey as a manga? Like they have to at this point,
Yeah,
right?
they probably
They have the fucking
yeah.
Bible as manga. How have they not done the Odyssey?
Look, this is not any slight on the work itself. This is definitely me not being able, like, this is like fundamental stupid American kind of vibes of like, oh, it's names in a different language. I can't handle this. I'm not pointing fingers at the Odyssey.
Okay, it's not the Odyssey's fault that it was written like a bazillion years ago.
My 17-year-old brain at this time was just like, how can I look at pictures of boobs on the internet? You know, like that was like 80% of my brain. And then the other 20% just didn't have room to like remember a bunch of names in a language that like wasn't the one that I spoke.
I love this implication though that you're like trying to figure out how to find them, find boobs on the internet.
I can't. I just couldn't.
In the early 2000s, and it's like it's like the Da Vinci Code for you.
Yeah, the like the Matrix, like boom boom, ting, ting, boom,
rotating a
like,
Rubik's cube, like just like there's got to be a way.
I mean, the internet is so big. There's got to be boobs somewhere on this thing.
Someone has to have uploaded images.
We got a quick correction here. Yeah, in episode 101, 2 greens, 1 red, we talked about Warhammer 40K, and I think I said something along the lines of like miniature games have their origins in hex encounter games and early military games. And that wasn't quite right. Thank you, Josh, for giving us a heads up. They were a completely different evolution, the minis games, from hex encounter. Minis wargaming is pretty old. It has like a parallel history. It goes back to the 19th century. The Prussians were using minis games as training tools for their military. And then the first published set of rules was H.G. Wells' Little Wars. Yeah, the same H.G. Wells, the writer.
Oh.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you chiming in with that. Want to make sure we keep things accurate here. Welcome to Shelf Stable, a podcast celebrating board games that have stood the test of time. I'm your host, Kenny Katayama.
And I'm the other host, Tom Bowers. Today, the main topic of the episode is stuff that we see on a board game box, basically, that make us go, I'm in. It doesn't matter how dangerous for us, our health, that it will be. We're going to play this game. If we see these names, these elements, these whatnots. Before we get into that, let's just talk about some stuff we've been playing recently. Kenny?
Tom, I got to play San Marco from 2001, designed by Alan Moon and Aaron Weissblum.
Alan Moon? You mean the guy behind Ticket to Ride?
Ravensburger AG. San Marco, you're creating influence, political influence in the city, the area of San Marco. And you're doing this via an I Split You Choose. This is like a very early I Split You Choose game. There's not a whole lot of I Split You Choose games really that have like maintained their existence in people's minds. It's functionally area majority combined with I Split You Choose. There's going to be different cards that allow you to place influence in the different areas of the map. And you're going to split them across the players. Each player is going to get to pick a pile before you, and then you get the last one. And then there's some special cards. There's cards that you always include that basically are timers that make it so that they have like fewer things that they can pick in this round before they're out. There's also cards that let you just trigger scoring in a particular area. We could go into the nuances and details of how everything works, but I think you have a general idea of the game. Place cubes of your color in the different areas, score the areas where you currently have the most. You try to navigate that by picking the right piles and splitting the right piles. I thought this game was okay.
Oof.
There are a few things that it has going for it. For one, it's like pretty easy to internalize both the rules and what's going on. It's not a game where you're like, oh, wow. Like, you know, you can kind of hit the ground running, which is kind of refreshing.
Yeah, especially for smooth-brained players like us.
Yeah, exactly. For players like us, we're getting to the end of the game and we're like, oh, now I think I understand how this game works. We should play it again sometime. And then we never play it. Like, at least San Marco, you're understanding it like a few turns in.
Right.
The other thing it has is it's like blessedly short. I thought this game was going to go for way longer than it did. It went for just the right amount of time. I think we played for like 35, 40 minutes or something. And that probably included some teaching in there. I felt like it was the appropriate amount of time for this game. We played at 3 players. Here are some concerns about the game. For one, I'm not convinced that this holds up to other I Split You Choose games. You and I both really like Hanami Koji. I'm not huge on I Split You Choose, but even like Marabunta, for example, that's another recent I Split You Choose. I haven't played it, but New Game Alert, Agent Avenue, I've heard really good things about. I'm just like wondering, like, does San Marco really hold up the test of time here? It's not even like San Marco's a bad game. It's more just like it feels like it's of another time, which is kind of like what we evaluate on this show.
Yeah, if anything, we're the ones that are here to tell you whether or not you should still be playing this old ass game.
Like, I don't want people to think just like, oh, it's old, we love it, you know? Like,
right.
Unlike a lot of like Kinesia titles, you play it and it feels old and that's it. It does exactly what it says on the tin, which is the case for a lot of Kinesia games. But there's no like, ooh, you know, when you play it. Like, there's no ooh moment.
It doesn't have that thing that still makes you go like, God damn, he was onto something.
Yeah. There's no moment like that. You get to the end of the game, and you're like, well, it was kind of what we signed up for kind of thing, which is fine. Like, I didn't dislike it, but I don't come out of it like tickled. I think a lot of I Split You Choose games do a good job of incorporating their I Split You Choose into whatever the outcome is. In San Marco, there's simultaneously not an extra little juicy thing, and also there's like a step removed. You're putting the stuff on, and then later there's a scoring. For me, this results in kind of like an odd moment of like, this is all we're doing. There's no dance between the I Split You Choose and the area majority. I almost wish the game would have been pared down to just like numbers, kind of like in Hanami Koji, or that there was this dance where there were cards in the I Split You Choose that affected how you do the I Split You Choose, or that you could put cards face down, or that putting a certain number of cards affects something with the board, things like that. As it is, it's like you could have had any mechanism for distributing the cards, and that would have fed into the area control.
It's like there's 2 separate games. There's not something that's really tying the mechanical concepts together in an interesting way. Okay.
If you're talking area majority and you compare this to like The King is Dead or El Grande, for example, I think the actions by which you place cubes on the board are more interesting in those games than they were in San Marco.
Yeah.
It's still worth checking out. If anything, it's just like an artifact of another Alan Armoon game that was like relatively popular at the time. But like, I'm not coming out of it like, oh, snap, I got to play San Marco.
People are sleeping on San Marco, bruv. Basically, people are correctly hitting the snooze button.
It feels old. In conclusion.
Wow, okay.
That was San Marco in 2001.
All right, well, speaking of old, I got game from the 20th century for you, Kenny.
Whoa.
Loopin Louie from 1992. Design credits on Board Game Geek go to Masaru Aoiki and Carol Wiseley. This is published by Milton Bradley, I think still to this day. Loopin Louie. This is kind of a legendary game. I sort of understand why. I say I've been playing this. I've played it like maybe 6 times. It's a quick game. My kids have been playing the shit out of this, and it's almost kind of a fiasco because our 5-year-old, I think, is having some trouble participating in the sportsmanship of it. Right. So for those who don't know, it is a mechanical toy game. It's like a dexterity kind of game where this little plastic figurine is flying around in an airplane, and you have paddles that flick him up over your barn, because if you don't push him out of the way, he's going to slam into these little tokens that are your chickens and knock them down. And you lose all your tokens, you're out of the game. It's pretty simple. The toy element is kind of what makes this, because the mechanical action of smacking Louie, the pilot, out of the way, and ideally getting him to fall down at just the right time to basically skip over your opponent's paddle and smack straight onto the chicken is very satisfying. So I can see why this has maintained a kind of legendary status, despite its very juvenile, very like not fair, I would say, design elements.
I've only watched YouTube videos. I want to play it.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's kind of hard to describe the momentum with which Louie goes up and down. There's kind of like Newtonian
fluid that is in a fulcrum on the other end of the dealio.
Yeah, think of the weight of Louie like Flappy Bird. Like Flappy Bird doesn't just drop down to the ground. Flappy Bird kind of like flows back down. So when you hit Flappy Bird, you don't want to like overextend, because then you're just helping your opponent. But you want to hit Louie high enough so that Louie avoids your barn.
If you overshoot, he basically swings right back around and can practically land on your own shit. And if you undershoot, it doesn't get where you need it to go. The unfairness of this game is that, at least in the original design, I think people love to modify this, but he just moves in a clockwise direction, or maybe it's counterclockwise, doesn't matter. It's going in one direction. And so a player who is like to the left of you has all the advantage, because they're always going to be able to smack their paddle first. So it would literally take them like fucking up and like just straight up missing in order for you to get the edge.
Yeah, there's a significant left player advantage.
Yeah, exactly. That's like kind of a bummer, but again, it's the kind of game that you like you play with adults in a bar, or you literally play with children. You're going to have fun despite the fact that it's not totally fair. That's kind of the magic of it. It's impressive, I guess. The amount of fun that comes out of it is surprising. Loopin Louie. Nice.
1992. Tom, contain your excitement. I got to play Container from 2007. We are cheating a little bit with this one because we are playing the Allplay version, which there are a few slight rules changes, but I mean, fundamentally, it's still Container.
This is our show. Fuck you. We get to decide.
Yeah, semi new game alert, I guess.
Okay.
This is designed by Franz-Benno Delonge, Thomas Ewert, and then Kevin Nesbitt contributed to the Allplay version.
Kevin Nesbitt?
Yeah. There is a new edition, which is like this auction island that wasn't in the original. Originally, there was just Container Island. That's it. Here, there's a secondary island
called Jeff's Island. Sorry.
Yeah, you can do these auctions for both containers and money that allow you to kind of inject, or I guess maintain more specifically, the economy of the game. Some container purists would say don't play with Auction Island. It's for noobs. Just get good. I don't know. I can't speak to it. So I guess,
I see.
Full disclaimer. We played Container with some of the new rules. What is Container? Container is a game where you do a bunch of moving money around to get these containers from your factories all the way to their delivered container island. But here's the catch. They have to basically go from the factories to another person's warehouse, to the ships, to the island where they get auctioned off, So there's a lot of moving around. And the funny thing is you can't do stuff like that to your own. It always has to pass to other hands. And so there's like 4 steps of you passing containers back and forth, oftentimes between people that have already been involved in this, which is kind of funny. It's like, oh, I made these containers. Oh, I'll buy them off of you and put them in my warehouse. And then you go over there and you're like, I'll take them from your warehouse. It's like, what are we doing? Why didn't we just put the containers on the ship to begin with? Thematically, you basically have to throw theme out of the door.
Right.
Because it doesn't make any sense. Maybe there's some kind of money laundering thing going on, or maybe there's some history or some kind of stuff about how containers get shipped around in supply chains that I'm not aware of. Hold up. You bought that off of me and now I'm buying it off of you? What are we doing here?
That's just how money works, baby.
Yeah, I guess so. Gameplay wise, it is like a really interesting thought experiment. It's like, what if we have this economic game where shit just has to like go from hand to hand multiple times before we finally call it donezo?
We got to move these microwave ovens.
Yeah. Most games, you just move one thing from one place to another. Most games, you can move your own stuff into one place and the other. You don't have to work with others. So those are 2 really interesting design experiments that are going on in this game. How do I feel about it overall? This is one of the I respect it more than I have an urge to play it again kind of games. I think it's like a really impressive and wild design. What I like about it is that it feels a little unhinged. Like it feels like it didn't go through an editing process. And that's a good thing. I'm talking about this positively. Just too many games feel like they're tailored to a particular market, well crafted, but in the process become stale bread. Container has sharp edges to it, and that's like really respectable and makes the game interesting. Where it falls short for me is that I feel like the passing of hands goes one too many. Also, the game length is like obscenely long. I think this game took 4 hours. And I don't mind playing a 4-hour game, but this game doesn't have a narrative arc. It's kind of just doing the same thing over and over, rinse, repeat. I would equate it to High Society, right? Like High Society, excellent game. Imagine playing the same game of High Society for 4 hours. Okay. This is probably a me problem. I'll just qualify. I wish this game was half its length, but I also don't think it would work if that was the case.
It sounds to me like this is the type of game where people who have played it a lot go like, 4 hours? Well, no wonder you didn't like it. I can get a session of that done in 90 minutes, you know? Like, you're just going to get a lot of that. And I would believe it.
I'm looking at the game length. So the most recent version, it says 45 to 90 minutes playtime. And then the original one says 60 to 90 minutes playtime. We played with 4 players. I don't know if that's context for people who like Container.
What do you think is not working for this that does work when it's 18xx?
18xx has an arc.
Okay.
18xx evolves. There's different stuff happening. This is like rinse and repeat.
Gotcha. Interesting.
I mean, maybe we're playing it wrong. Maybe there is an arc that I'm not noticing because I'm not familiar enough with the gameplay.
It's like maybe the arc is just like there is one, but it's more subtle than you can immediately appreciate on a first play.
This game is like very opaque.
To
a point where I really do feel like a toddler pressing buttons at like an airplane console or something. Like I was pressing send and just being like, I hope this does good stuff for me. It's not like anyone else around the table was that much better than I was. Like there was one person at the table that had a better understanding, but even them, they were like trying to figure things out as they went kind of thing. So yeah, I'm like scratching my head. Again, it's like a design that I really respect. I want to see more games like this, but I'm also not clamoring to play another game of this.
Interesting. So your analysis of it is like equivalent to hearing Kid A for the first time. I love the fact that someone was like allowed to make this, but I don't know how to understand this yet.
Maybe I think the thing with Kid A is like it's weird enough that I wanted to keep listening to it. Whereas like Container, I'm like, I think I'm good.
What would the musical equivalent of that be?
I don't know, like Orthrealm's OV. That's a deep cut for you.
Sure.
That's not going to hit with any of our listeners. Container contains a lot of interesting designs, but also contains a lot of rinse and repeat moments.
Well, Kenny, I played a game from 2010, a little game you may have heard of called Sobek. This is designed by Bruno Cathala and published by GameWorks.
How Beck is it?
It's so Beck. It's making me say hell yes.
Oh, yeah. Good job, Tom.
Thank you. I know music. Sobek is a drafting game. The most interesting element of it is this mechanic called corruption. When you draft from the selection of cards, the further in that you go from the leftmost option, the more cards you have to take into your corruption pile. The most corrupt player at the end of a round will lose points. Basically, you fall back on a snakes and ladders style scoring track.
Bruno loves this corruption thing. He had another corruption mechanism in Cleopatra.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not honestly all that familiar with his designs.
You talked about King Domino last week.
Oh, and King Domino. Oh, man, I'm on like a Cathala bender and I don't even know it. The fact that he did King Domino makes so much fucking sense because I was playing it thinking like, man, this feels a lot like King Domino. It has the same mechanic too, where you score essentially like crowns times the number of tiles. Just a lot of kind of like his classic go-to mechanics in a bit of a pile here. Weirdly enough, I don't think I like it as much as King Domino because there's some flashy sort of events and like gotchas and like ho-ho type moments, like player interaction basically that feels almost like it was like baked in for no other reason than to get people who hate Euros off his back or something. I don't know. And maybe that's being unfair. I think there's probably some amount of like thematic designs to it, and there's a lot of like second level considerations that come about because of that. King Domino feels like the clean, like we got rid of the bullshit version of this game. What I will say though is that a lot like I've said for many Reiner Knizia designs, this is yet another one of those where it feels highly strategic in a heads up scenario, and it feels a little bit lol so random in a multiplayer, but not as badly, I'd say, as most of these designs. I think that the difference between a 2-player and a 3-player version of this is not as dramatic as Cosmo Lancer by comparison. Okay. That said, Sobek 2-player edition, I guess it's just literally called Sobek 2 Players, which is like a weird subtitle. I don't know why they did that. It seems like a very different spin on this design that focused in on what made it great as a tactical, almost abstract game. And I think that's what I was actually curious to try, but I'm glad that I played this regardless. It's a neat little game. It's kind of the same vibe as what you were saying about San Marco. Like, I don't know that people need to go rush out and make sure that they get a game of this in. If you've played King Domino recently, you might like the differences that Sobek brings, or you just might find them like disappointing and chaotic. That's cool. Sobek. It's one on my list, so I crossed that off there too.
Hey, good job. How's the fast food going?
You're really hung up on like you know what? You need to get more New Year's resolutions so you can stop like worrying about my resolutions. Man, we love fast food here, okay? Yes, we do. We love to eat it.
100 games to play before you die.
All right, it's time to talk about the 100 games that you are required to die before you play. And game number 81 on that list is Twilight Struggle.
Oh, mixing it up.
From 2005. What, did I say the wrong thing?
Required to die before you play?
Game number 81 on that list is Twilight Struggle from 2005. This is designed by Ananda, Gupta, and Jason Matthews, published by GMT. Kenny, why is this, of all things, on the list?
Very Egyptian vibes. I'll bring this game with me in my pyramid so I can play it in the afterlife. Twilight Struggle. It was number 1 on BGG for a long time, and as we know, that's like a pretty big indicator on whether or not a game is good or not.
Yeah.
This is 2-player only, somewhat asymmetric in the sense that you have access to different card abilities, but one side plays as the US, the other side plays as the USSR. Full disclaimer, we did get a review copy of this back in the day, so
we're rolling in it, baby.
I mean, we liked this game before we got the review copy. I put this on because I really wanted to emphasize CDGs. CDGs nuts. These are card-driven war games or card-driven games. That's what that stands for. And they're a specific branch of GMT-styled military games. You know, some people call them con sims, things like that, in which there's a relatively low base set of rules compared to a lot of war games, but then a lot of the chrome, a lot of the nuance in terms of what happens to represent historical settings takes place on the cards themselves. And all these interesting events happen on the cards that reflect what happened during that historical period. In this case, the USA versus USSR for that epic Cold War clash. And you're going to have cards like China, you know, or Fidel Castro and things like that.
I will say, like, if nothing else, I've played this a decent number of times, primarily online.
Yeah.
I have learned a lot about the period between 1947 and 1989.
Yeah.
Just by playing this game. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then you like read the Wikipedia article. You're like, holy fuck.
It's really good for that. I think that's one of the appeals of these games. The other one is kind of like this simulationist experience of, oh, I am familiar with the history and I am going and experiencing not only something that reflects more or less what resulted in some of these things happening, but also sometimes might diverge timeline wise. I think that's a big appeal of these games. It's funny, like, I want to compare this to the Queen's Gambit in a way. Oh, hey, you know, we killed Obi-Wan in this one, but then Qui-Gon avenged him.
It's funny because you're saying all that. And, like, for me, the actual events of the cards falls away pretty quick when you get into it at a relatively deep level. Mm-hmm. And you're left more with the value, like you're thinking in terms of the numbers and, you know, how do I manipulate the odds of things going my way? Where can I sort of like surprise the other player? There is a lot of 4D chess in this game, and it feels really, really tense, really like frustrating tug of war. You know, there's never like a moment that feels like, okay, in this timeline, you know, Reagan died for real. Like, you know, like it doesn't really play out like that per se, but I kind of see where you're coming from.
I mean, I've played this way fewer times than you have. I think I played it twice. Maybe I was taking in more of the flavor because it was my first few plays.
Right.
Reading the titles of cards, which I know that happens less the more you play it.
Yeah, definitely. You start to just see stuff and you're like, oh, okay, this is that 4 that does this, you know, like, but yeah, I guess like it's interesting because it has something for casual first timers and it has something for hardcore. I play this every day, every weekend online type, right?
Yeah. That was a Twilight struggle.
I'm coming for you, Ian. All right, Kenny. Well, it's enough yapping, enough bullshitting, enough nonsense. It's time to break it down. It's time to rip it a new one. It's time to get into the real meat and potatoes, the steak and au gratin of the episode. And this week, we're talking about the stuff that we trust way too much. What kind of shit is going to get us in trouble if it's on the side of a box? If it's in the Board Game Geek description, if our friends are coming to us and they're saying, hey, this one is like this other game, and I know how you feel about that, where are we going to get fucked up on this? What is the conceit?
Yeah, I thought it'd be more interesting than just things we like, things that will lead us into something, and maybe it's good and maybe it's bad, but we're still going to say yes. You know, it's a slightly different premise.
Sure.
I think this is us acknowledging our own follies to a certain extent.
Let's just jump into it.
I'll give you a real solid one that'll make people go, okay, I understand what they mean now.
All right.
Friedman Freeze. If it's a Friedman Freeze game, I'm like, sign me up. I would say my hit rate with Friedman Freeze games is below 50%. I've played a lot of Friedman Freeze games, and the ones I like, I love. They're amazing. There's a lot that I don't particularly want to revisit, but I'm like, that was really cool. That was very interesting. Right. But I'm never going to say no to a Friedman Freeze game. I think that he's got too many good ideas. And even when it falls flat, I'm still interested to see what it is that he's doing.
I think I'm like practically right there with you. Like, he's the kind of guy who is designing something for some, like, he like woke up in a stupor from a dream and was like, I gotta write this down. And that's like all of his designs, or at least half the time. And then the other half of the time, you know, I don't know. He's always doing something fresh, something weird and exciting.
Yeah, I just respect the fact that he's doing weird stuff. I think people get hung up on like a game experience being fun. You know what I mean, right? Like,
sure.
Fun is overrated, you know? Like, there's so many other experiences that you can get out of a game. Thought-provoking, creative, interesting,
We've talked about this before, right? Like, or have we not? Like, second level fun, right? Like,
yeah. You brought it up.
Okay.
You talked about a kayak and then you didn't know the rest of the analogy.
I don't remember the details either, but the gist of it is like there's doing something that's like like hedonistically, like you're going to enjoy the experience of it, you know? And then there's the second level where it's like, it's fun and you hate it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or it's fun because of the struggle, because of the journey.
There's so many different ones, right? The fun is in like how fascinating it is. Like, you're in awe, even though you're not necessarily enjoying the experience and things like that. So I know that the one you're talking about has like 3 levels, but there's probably more than that. Did you have one?
I'm very hyped, Kenny.
Yeah, you are very hype.
I'm very hyped because Magic the Gathering might be getting good again next year.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks to me.
Thanks to you. Thanks to us bitching about Universes Beyond on this podcast.
Yeah,
they finally fucking
Universes
listened.
Beyond.
What's my point? They're coming out with a set next year, and this is going somewhere. So just bear with me. Coming out with a set next year called Zalfir. And it's a revisit to a sort of world that has literally both in the story and in real life kind of been abandoned for almost 30 years. Which,
to Tom's credit, 40 episodes ago, he was like, they should go back to this world.
Yeah. So they listened. This is the fastest built set they've ever done. And what I'm trying to say is that Afrofuturism is always going to get me, I think.
It's a rad theme. It's a rad setting.
Yeah. More Afrofuturism, please. Your game can suck ass, but if it has Afrofuturism, Wakanda, think Wakanda. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, I'm there.
Have you played Anansi?
I haven't. I need to.
It's a trick taker. Yeah. I mean, we should try it out. I haven't played it either.
I love that little spider guy. But yeah, the Afrofuturism, I'm realizing it's a theme, it's a flavor that I think is underutilized, and where it has shown up, it's really been awesome.
Freeman Freeze is going to make a game called Fro Future.
Oh, God. Future Fro or something? Yeah.
Maybe we add here, like, get consultants or be a designer that has a background in the theme that you're doing.
Yeah. You got to do it justice. Don't do it wrong.
I'm going to do a publisher here.
Okay.
CMYK. CMYK has an amazing sense for making games that will put smiles and laughter on people's faces. They also have like incredibly good graphic design. I'm probably going to loop in Oink here. I want to talk about the two together because Oink Games is a similar way where like the graphic design, how things are presented is really clever, and they're also very fun games. I will say CMYK has a better hit rate than Oink, but Oink also just comes out with way more. So it's like, are we measuring it based on quantity or based on success rate? Like, what's our metric, you know? I think they're both in the space. They're using this kind of like minimalist, very high color palette to create these fun games that are all about just having a good time. You know, this is like the polar opposite of like fun is overrated. This is like fun is what it's all about, you know? When I see a new CMYK game come out or I see a new Oink game come out, I'm like, I got to play it. But I would say more so than Friedman Freeze. I think most of the time I like them.
I don't think I go as far out of my way based on like the like the aesthetic of a publisher, but I see where this is coming from. Because like I do think that CMYK will come out with something and I'll be like, just based on the box alone, I'm like, I'm interested. So they fucking figured that out for sure.
Yeah. You're not huge on wavelength, right?
Really, it's an issue I have with like party games broadly, which is like my issue with wavelength is that it sells itself as a party game and it basically only works for 2 players.
I don't agree with that. Are you talking like scoring wise or?
No, just even like the gameplay. It's like the left and right adjustment.
But we've played it together. Most definitely with large groups, and you're telling me that didn't work, or you're telling me like it was actually 2 players?
It's just that like one person is setting the dial and everyone else is like, maybe they're arguing about it like a little bit, but like there's not.
I would say they were arguing a lot.
That's what it's meant to do, I guess. It's just like generate conversation, but like as a game, it's like between typically just 2 people. But I don't know, maybe that's like, maybe I'm sort of shooting myself in the foot here because it's almost like a knock in the other direction where it's like it's a party game that you can play with just one other person where it works in both environments, I guess, is another way you could look at it. But I don't know. I'm like the actual game loop.
You feel like it's too isolated at points. I mean, I can see what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree. I think it's a pretty involved endeavor.
It doesn't create as much conversation as other party games, and it plays like it's one-on-one. I feel like. Okay. I don't know if that's really doing a good job. Like compare it to monikers or even like That's Not a Hat. It's like, I feel like it doesn't get people talking in interesting ways.
Okay. I'm looking at the catalog of CMYK and it's like kind of insane how positive I am on this.
Yeah. You want to know something that I know gets both you and me, and it has the potential to burn us really hard in 2027? Trusting Netrunner people, like anybody who can attach their name to the Netrunner community, I think almost at all, we're probably already in. And we're literally doing this in a monetary way with Hub World Eidolon, right? And it's like Corey DeVore and Michael Boggs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're buying, right? But like it's also been true of like Lucas Litzinger and like the guy who did Slay the Spire, right?
Oh, you're talking about Sneaky Sly?
Sneaky Sly with Slay the Spire, right?
What is Sneaky Sly's actual name, though? Anthony Giovanetti.
Anthony Giovanetti of Slay the Spire is another person who's like attached to Netrunner. Now, I didn't play Slay the Spire because I heard a guy who was part of the Netrunner community created it. But I do kind of think like if a new roguelike game came out and it was like, hey, do you know like one of the head mods of StimHack made it? I'd be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of stuff where it's like if anyone pitches it to me as like it's a Netrunner light game, I'm gonna be like, okay, you know.
Yeah, this person that designed it played Netrunner one time. Oh, I gotta play it, you know.
Radlands did this as well.
We're definitely Netrunner pilled for sure. That's a good one. I like that.
If we ever become a publishing house, the easiest way to get us to basically greenlight your fucking game is to just roll up and be like, it's a 2-player asymmetric living card game with a cyberpunk theme. It's just like, okay.
Where do I give my money?
The only thing you haven't told me is your bank account credentials.
Okay, well, along that line, I think that's a good segue. Richard Garfield.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I trust him with my life to the same extent.
Okay. Well, full disclaimer, Richard Garfield's been on the show, but
sure,
more than Friedman Freese.
Okay.
I will be like, oh, Richard Garfield did this? Yeah, I'll play it.
Okay.
I think that he's very good at creating chaos, like controlled chaos. And that's something I like in my games.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from. I mean, he said it on our show even, right? The cosmic poker. Like it's what he's kind of after on some level.
It's different than Friedman Freese in the sense that, and with Friedman Freese, I kind of know what I'm going to get and maybe I don't like it or I don't. But with Richard Garfield, I have no idea what I'm getting. I just know the vibe that it's going to have. Then it's about whether or not the actual thing is solid or not. It's almost inverted.
Interesting. I don't really have a reason for like not being on this level. other than maybe just like I'm not nearly as impressed with Magical Athlete as everyone else. It could just be that.
It's more than Magical Athlete, right? It's like it's Mindbug, it's King of Tokyo, it's Soulforge, it's Spynet. You like Spynet, right? / Shadow
I did like
Blades.
Spynet. I still feel like I haven't played a complete game of it. Full disclosure, Bunny Kingdom.
Yeah.
I was whelmed by King of Tokyo.
Yeah.
And I was whelmed by the other game that you said that I already forgot.
Keyforge.
I was whelmed by Keyforge.
I liked Keyforge quite a bit. And it's funny, I liked Keyforge's mechanisms and gameplay more than the distribution model. Distribution model was the focus. I could care less about the distribution, but the game was actually like fun.
Really? I don't know. I feel like I'd have to play it again, and I probably would evaluate it with a lot more interest playing it again now. But at the time, I think I was largely just like, it's funny because I'm someone who copies other people's decks online all the time. I'm not really all that interested in deck expression on my own terms or deck building in most games that I've played.
Yeah.
But something about the fixed deck aspect of Keyforge made me feel like I don't care. I don't know if I would do that anymore because, like, you know, they got like Magic Jumpstart now and stuff like that. Like, I feel like I've warmed up to that concept a lot more.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's just a different approach to how you play it. You got another one?
I mean, at this point, like, if I see Rob Daviau's name on the fucking box, I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
Right? We've been talking about him a lot recently, but it's like where you've talked about Freeman Freeze having like a sub 50% win rate with you, but you you still stick your neck out for him every time. It's like the inverse of that. I guess Davio is my Richard Garfield in the sense that, like, I trust his taste, his predilections or whatever, because, like, I have yet to be like surprised that his name was attached to a project. You know what I mean? Like, in a bad way.
Yeah. It's interesting because he collaborates so much that it's like kind of hard to tell what he did or what the other person did.
He's like the fucking, is it J. Cole or Jay-Z? Like Jay-Z, right?
Well, last time you said the producer.
I was talking about Rick Rubin last time,
Rick
but
Rubin.
like he's cringe. I regret comparing him to Rob Davio. It's more like Jay-Z, I guess, or whatever. Like, he's just like the feet on a lot of songs. And you're like, oh,
I guess so, yeah. Let's do some non-people / publishers. I really like when games have deck building. I am going to admit it on the casts.
The first step to solving your problems is admitting you have one.
My name is Kenny, and I have a problem with deck builders. It's funny because this has burned me so much more than anything we've talked about so far. Deck building is such a minefield.
It is crazy, like, the spectrum of like shit to epic that is possible with the same fucking mechanic.
Well, it's so
like,
broad, right? That's why.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, you know, I got this Kickstarter that nobody's heard of that is like about delving in a dungeon. And I'm like, I snooze. But then they go, it's a deck builder. I'm like, hold up. And it's not a good reason. I gotta stop doing this to myself. And then I play it. I'm like, this isn't any good. But there's always like the what if, you know. I love Dominion so much, and I used to really enjoy a lot of the like Ascension style games too. That just like, I think I'm just caught up in that nostalgia to a certain extent. And somebody goes like deck builder, and my head perks up like a dog that just heard about a squirrel or something.
Right, like Hank Hill and Propane or something.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, how could it go wrong? It literally changed my life the first time. Why wouldn't it change my life now?
I think like Civ and 4X, right? That's another one where somebody's like, oh, it's a 4X that you can play in an hour. And I'm like, when has that ever gone well? And then I'm like, still going to play it though. Still want to try it and find out.
Right. I do think I'm a little bit weak recently to hand shedding card games because of Scout, I guess. Like, basically, if I see something and it promises Scout-like gameplay, I'm going to be like, I'll buy it without having tried it first. Like, for no other reason than I assume my partner Helena is going to enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah, there's like I know this is kind of a safe bet.
Right. And I don't even know if that's really true, because like this happened with Denup not too long ago, and like everyone hates Denup, by the way. except for Austin, I think. Shout out Austin for being a real one.
For the listeners at home, everyone in our group hates Denup.
I don't really understand why. They just sort of like...
Can you call it by its real name, by the way?
Oh, what's the real name?
D's Nups.
Oh.
New game alert.
D's Nups. It's a new game, but I think it's like a functional reprint of a game that predates Scout, if I understand correctly.
Yes, yeah.
I don't really know what's going on. I still think it's all right, personally, but I immediately, like, after buying it, was like, what am I doing? I think it has stuff going on that is different than Scout.
Different is not good, though.
No, I was going to say, I don't think it like outclasses Scout by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it deserves to be written off because Scout exists either.
To me, Denup is just what if Scout but Linko, and I'm just like, I'd rather play Scout or Linko. That's
really his biggest problem, is that it doesn't fit anywhere in the collection.
Yeah,
overall, I will agree with you on that. I will concede to
our
that.
mini review of D's Nups. New game alert.
D's Nups.
Yeah, Shedders have been solid. We got to try Teach You again, because like you haven't played Teach You and I didn't understand. So we have to actually get it before we can have opinions about it. I literally have no opinion.
I think we got enough content out of this one.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff we missed. Like, why didn't you talk about Knizia? Well, we're trying to give you stuff that like you don't know about us. Come on.
I was actively avoiding mentioning him. Like, yeah, of course. I see Reiner Knizia on the fucking box. So I'm going to be like, okay, I guess I'll play this one. Yeah. Oh no. Like, everyone already knows that, right?
Yeah, so we're just giving you... Chuddik, yes. Knizia,
None of you motherfuckers was sitting there thinking, oh, he's going to bring up Afrofuturism.
There you go.
No one thought I was on that shit, okay? So how about them apples? And that said, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you especially to our Patreon supporters. You can subscribe to our Patreon for free. Patreon.com/shelfstablecast. You can get access to our monthly newsletter, but consider that paid subscription. Jump into our Discord, listen to unedited episodes, bonus content episodes as well. Helps us make the show the best thing you can be listening to. Thank you to Michael, Tyler, Devon, and Josh of the Boise RainBeaus for your segue music. And thank you to Bonehouse for letting us use your song, Raw, as our opening theme.
What are things that make you go, I will play that? Send us your thoughts directly at shelfstablecast@gmail.com. And if you're loving the cast, consider sharing it with a friend, writing a review, hitting a thumbs up, sending a message to Eric Martin.
Next week, Kenny, I think we're going to talk about point salad. Okay, we're going to defend it a little bit from the haters, or maybe we can have a little tit for tat, a little argument. Yeah. Is point salad good? Is it bad? We'll find out.
Helps with your digestion.
Fiber, salad, points.
See ya.
Bye.